What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Music Maniacs with Sight After Dark, the podcast where we talk about music and we just so happen to be maniacs about it. Today, we are joined by two-thirds of the band Gale Bird. We have Joshua Gale, we have Sean Moynihan here to talk about music, to talk about life, love, family, and so much more. And let's see what happens wherever the conversation goes. But first of all, welcome. Thanks for being here, guys. We appreciate you. For anyone that listens to the pod or watches the pod but doesn't know you guys, how would you introduce yourselves into the world?
Gale Bird, just great, incredible friends that love music. And when you get that music itch that you can't let go of, and you turn 35 years old, and then eventually you get to do it later into your 30s, and have a little bit of success doing it, it's incredible. And it's just it's a fraction of our lives, but it's one of our favorite parts of living, and we're just so happy to be able to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, just being able to make music with people that you would enjoy being around is such a privilege. Just being able to make it and continue to perform it. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, we know it's not necessarily the formula for success. There have been some angry people on stage that have made some hits, but yeah, it is a lucky thing to get along with who you're playing with, I think. So, guys, why the name Gale Bird?
So for me, yes. No band name is amazing until the band makes it, right? You think of every band name you've ever heard of, and you're like, if they wouldn't have made it, that's just a silly name.
That's so true.
And it's like, you don't realize how hard it is until like the label's like, okay, you need a band name, and so growing up, I earned a nickname, and nicknames are I think incredibly cool. And I think everybody deserves a nickname. I think it's a sign of just friendship, all the things, admiration, whatever it may be. And so I have two older brothers that kind of went before me throughout school, and where we grew up was like football town USA. It's Plano, Texas, right north of Dallas. Like,
oh, I've been there.
Yes. So like they have high school stadium or high school stadiums that are larger than a lot of college stadiums, and indoor facilities, everything. And so football was life. So like if you were an athlete, you went by your last name. And so kind of following in their footsteps, and my dad's football footsteps, came right along and became Gale. And then I also had the nickname J Bird because I think when I was young, I never would keep clothes on. It's just I think people only wear clothes in sitcoms. So my family nickname gave me the nickname J Bird. Well, having a dad that's kind of a huge extrovert and a little obnoxious, would scream and yell, "Come on, J Bird," as loud as he could. Didn't matter what sport it was. Coaches would pick up on that. Friends would pick up on that. That morphed into Gale Bird. And so that became the nickname. And so we're just thinking about band names. I think we heard, it was a nickname. We threw it out there against the wall to see if it stuck. It stuck. Sean was indifferent, as long as the music's good, like who cares?
Right.
So
that's how it should be, right?
Yeah. So
exactly,
I think it was, that's what we did. And nobody argued with it, and we just ran with it.
Nice.
And so you guys started writing together originally in college, right?
That's right. Yeah. So we took about a 13-year break after that, just with life, not because we were pissed at each other or anything, but yeah, we started into college. We were at different schools, but lots of mutual friends, and we're playing a little bit around town, and then figured we had to get some real jobs, and we both got married and started our families, and just recently getting back to it.
Nice. Well, so let's explore that more, because I feel we do the podcast. We talk to a lot of musicians, and it's always, I'm doing this in my career, I'm doing this musically. But obviously, life is a great big adventure. There's so many things going on in life, and everybody's life doesn't necessarily have the same path, right? So it's like, you guys started writing together years ago, and then, life happens, you ended up getting back together. So I'm curious, like, what happened in that in between? Do you think it kind of influenced the music that you're making now? And how has things changed for you guys within those 13 years? Not only like your personal lives, but just your relationships together?
Yeah, a ton has happened for sure. I mean, one of the quickest things I think of is like, what one of the biggest things we're writing towards is kind of encouraging ourselves to do better in our relationships and in our marriage. And so obviously that was a big part of 13 years of highs and lows of a relationship and having kids, and so there's just a lot of life experience and learning and growth that happened there. Uh, for me, I studied music in college, and so trying to figure out what that looked like after college was quite an adventure. So I tried the gig scene for a while and found out I don't like staying out late at night. I tried. I've been teaching since then. I do a lot of orchestration and production stuff, but again, none of those were ever kind of for me a full time. This is all I do. It's just kind of like parts and pieces of a bunch of stuff that I'm doing at the same time, and.
Right.
And so it was really kind of wonderful because once Josh approached me about starting back up, and I was already kind of creating a life of freelance and parts and pieces, and so it just kind of fit right in. And
another piece to the puzzle.
Exactly, yeah, and it was nice too because, like you said, we're not making a ton of money doing this. We love it; it's important, but still got to pay the bills, feed the family. So having other streams of income and being able to then kind of just tag this on and not have it to be the thing that we're relying on financially has been the only reason it's probably still going. But yeah, it's I think definitely it shaped us in some ways that set this up to be a really great adventure. Round 2.
Well, yeah, you said your lives have changed since you started writing back when you were pretty much kids. What would you say is your motivation to like stay together and keep doing your music now? Like, is it family? Is it just love of music? Like, what is it?
Yeah, I think everybody. I think there's something called a Clifton Strengths. I don't know if you've ever taken the test. It's kind of like a disc tendency kind of test, right? It tells you what motivates you. Like, what are your top strengths? How do you become motivated to do some of the mundane things? How do you what drives you in life? And so I took this a couple of years ago to learn more about myself. Everybody should know their behavioral tendencies. Everybody should know their strengths. Everybody should know all that stuff because it's going to kind of help you in communication with other people. Oh, that person is kind of a D tendency, this person's this.
Right.
For me, belief was one of my top strengths. The test showed it. It was like kind of obvious. And so I have some core beliefs, some things that I think that are really true that I lean into to accomplish certain things. I'm a very high capacity person. And so sometimes that means like something's getting robbed, but somebody still has to get the work done. So I just lean into whatever those top strengths are to get that done. So writing music, you guys know, is extremely difficult. Like if everybody was great at songwriting, we'd have way more music than we do. We already have so much music already. Some of it terrible, some of it less terrible, some of it good.
It's a wide range,
and it's just what is it? It's a wide range, but I think it's 100,000 songs a day right now still.
Yeah.
It's insane. But like good songwriting is difficult, and it takes a lot to motivate you to get into songwriting. Nobody leads you to it, pushes you. Nobody's going to call you and be like, man, remember when you wrote that great song? You should write another one. Like that just doesn't happen. Like nobody's calling you to tell you
that's so true.
Write music, or hey, are you trying to write? If we could kick out a new song every 4 or 5, 6 weeks and just put out one album, by the end of the year, that'd be great, for the rest of our lives. That would be amazing. But I don't think you could do that successfully and accomplish some other things in life, have a full-time family, generate wealth, all that kind of stuff. Like something's going to get robbed, even if you are the highest capacity person. So for us, when we get together to write music, like we write songs that we need to hear. And so it's like really important to ourselves. Like, everybody has different backgrounds. Any way you look at it. And it's like, there are some things that we want differently for our children. We want differently for the world. We want differently for anybody surrounding us. The way that we think things should be, the earth would be a better place if, and so we're writing these things to like, we can control ourselves. Sean and I have realized we can't control anybody outside of ourselves.
Right.
Our children are mirrors of us. Our wives respond to the way we treat them. Like it's we can control us. So let's like keep reminding ourselves of the things that we need to say, do. How do we be present? All these different things. And how does that go into a song? How does that fit? And how do we encourage others to come alongside of that? So if you'll notice, there's a trend of like uplifting parts of our music that like we feel like the world needs. And so that motivates us. We're writing for our children, we're writing for ourselves, we're writing for our families, the future, all that kind of stuff. But we're also trying to like push ourselves musically. Sean challenges me like no other. He produces everything. He tracks almost all the instruments on every recording. But then he's in the studio, and then he's become the producer for a lot of my friends. Is like pulling out the gold in them. He's like, hold on, you can do this. You just don't realize it yet. So try it like this. And he pushes and motivates everybody that's around him. And that's challenging. That's fun. And it's like songwriting and making music and trying all this is very hard. But when did we as a society start avoiding things that are really hard? And so we like lean into it more. Like, this is really, really hard. Let's just keep leaning into it. Let's keep trying. But thankfully we have a friendship that allows us to do that as well. We don't get offended with one another. Rarely in a band, I think you guys get this, rarely in a band do you have more than one person that is highly motivated to. Okay. All right, buddy, I'll be in there in a minute. Just lock the door. Murphy's Law. So somebody's playing weird music. My kids are like, that's really weird. For us, like, we challenge each other. We have a great friendship, and rarely does a band have more than one person that's like the most committed person in the band. Everybody else is like along for the ride. But luckily for us, we have like at least two people in the band that are like really want this to succeed. They're investing so much into it. They don't let an idea die. We bounce things off of each other. And then we have the friendship around it. We're at the gym every morning together, kind of talking about what we need to accomplish. Mm-hmm. We're making enough money to be able to continue to do this with flexibility in our lives. So we just recently launched an e-commerce jewelry brand, which, was, yeah. So it's like heirloom fine jewelry, shameless plug, Valentine jewelry.
Give you all the plugs. It's all good. That's what this is for, bro.
Yes. We always hook hosts up. I got invited as a creative. I want to do anything creatively, and I got invited into the jewelry world about 5 years ago, and just saw so much success. So much I loved working with couples, designing custom rings, and all this different stuff. So it's like, Sean, let's give it a shot. We did it, and we've got it launched. It's an incredible site. We've done some really cool stuff with it, so we're trying to just figure out every way that we can have flexibility so we can play music as much as we want to. And it's hard to do that with a 9 to 5, Mm-hmm. And that's really what motivates us a lot, is like, how do we do it really well where we just like don't destroy all of our relationships in the process, where we like, you only get to walk one path. It's either you go tour 360 days a year and take 5 days off, or you don't make music at all, because like in the eyes of the world, this is what success looks like. It doesn't. I haven't seen 90% of the bands that I listen to. I still love their music so much. So I think we're trying to rewrite some of what success looks like. And hopefully we weren't super wrong when we look back about 10, 15 years from now. Yeah. I'm done talking for the rest of the
podcast. No, it's all good. I mean, you made a lot of, that was very insightful, and there was a lot of points that you said that definitely resonate with me, and I think with us. Well, first of all, like you said, it is very rare to have more than one person in the band that's really like, let's do it. Yeah. And that was one of the reasons why Sifa and I always got along so well, is because we were like, I remember when we met at an open mic, just randomly. And we were like, oh, you want to start a band? Yeah. And we literally like sat down one day. It's like, so like when I say like we're start a band, like you want to go on tour and you want to do all these shows, and like you're really down for like all that this entails. We're like, yeah, like we're both in, like let's do it. And that was like 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So it is important to have that. And I have been in bands before where that is not the case.
Right. Yeah.
So that's very important. And then also the other thing I want to say, and I do want to get these things out before I forget, because sometimes I forget all the thoughts that I have. But you were talking about like redefining, or I don't even know if redefining is really the word, but just like a rededication or an idea of what success is. Because I feel like people have in their heads like an idea. It's like, oh, if you're successful, like you got to be playing Madison Square Garden or something. That's success. But the reality is, as we said before, there's so many different things going on in life. It's like if you are able to create a lane for yourself where you can do what you love as much as possible and be healthy in doing it, that's a win. Like you don't necessarily need to be making $1 million a song to be winning. You know what I mean? The fact that we're all able to do this, that we're all able to put the energy in, that we're able to go on a stage and physically do this is a win in itself. And I feel like 10 years from now, maybe if you're like, oh, well, this didn't work out exactly how we thought, you still have these 10 years of memories and knowing that like, hey, at least we went for it, man. And we really did it. And we had a good time while we did it, because nothing in this life is certain. Nothing is guaranteed. So at least and again, you can only control yourself, right? There's so many things in the world that you can't control. And if you worry about those things, you're just going to stress yourself out all the time. But you can control your life, and you know that you can do this. And the fact that you are doing it is a win by itself, regardless of what the outcome is. So I think that's a very important thing that I think people need to hear more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. All right. Okay. I know you guys met when you were younger, but how did you know what style of music you wanted to do? Like, was it always that you just listened to similar things? Like, what was the consensus in terms of your songwriting?
That's such a good question, because I didn't listen to country growing up. I studied jazz in college. I played gospel at churches, and I pretty much did every genre except for country. But I mean, I can idolize all these guitar players from the country world that are just incredible. So that was an easy on ramp of like, I have respect for sure for the genre. And Josh kind of just has that voice that fits the alt country. And so, I've grown to love the genre, and it just kind of fit right away. And when we play live, we lean more towards like a country rock feel. But in the studio, it just, it was fun. We've started experimenting with all sorts of different instruments to match the genre. So bringing in banjos and, slide guitar, lap steel stuff. It's been really exciting. So we kind of, I think, found that genre, and we're going after it. We're kind of sticking with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really does speak to me. I understand totally. I mean, Dan and I pretty much listen to similar types of music outside of each other. But when we got together and started making music, we just started playing. It's like, it was almost like a call and response kind of thing, right? Yeah. I get it.
And I think for us, one of the things that really helped us lean that way is Josh is an incredible songwriter, and he's such a good storyteller. And so for me coming into the band, I had come out of school where I'm pretty much pressured into like, if you want to really do music, you got to do jazz, or you got to be playing this certain way, the success stuff, Dan, that you were talking about. And so it was so refreshing to have Josh to partner and play with, in that he just prioritized things. He's a great musician, but he's not prioritizing technical ideas of music or some of the crazy stuff that I was focused on. He was emphasizing the entertainment and the live storytelling and the marketing side of music, which I didn't realize how important it was. And so not only does that help us, I think, team really well together with the band, but leaning into country and his storytelling and his writing it just made so much sense for us to be leaning towards country.
Yeah, I think for me, growing up, born in Raleigh, North Carolina, my grandmother, I spent a lot of time with her. She was from Hickory, North Carolina, which is Appalachia. And my grandfather was from Southport, North Carolina, which is like the most eastern place in North Carolina. It's a small fishing village, like I think right now it's 2,000 people live there. It's an incredible place. They film a lot of movies there, Nicholas Sparks films and stuff, because it's so beautiful.
Right.
But very rooted kind of country folk, and then spent the rest of my childhood in Plano, Texas, north of Dallas. So country was big there as well. As far as genres, I would listen to everything, but then I'd realize about myself, I love to feel. Like if a movie can make me feel like 5 different emotions, that's it. Like one of my favorite movies of all time is What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. It's the most depressing movie of all time, but it's also like one of the most incredible movies of all time, like as far as making you feel joy and like resolve and making you think about the future and eternity and like all these different things. And if you haven't watched it, get in like a perfect place to watch it, and then like prepare yourself to feel so many different emotions. But I would realize about myself, I love to feel so much, and music would really dictate how I felt. So like I love to lament, but like I actually don't stay sad very long. Like unless I'm aided to stay long, like through music, I don't stay sad. Like I move through different emotions pretty quickly. My wife's like, what the heck just happened? Like we just argued, and then all of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, like I'm cool. Yeah. Like I'm like ready to move on. Yeah. But music is so powerful in that, though. Like music can make you stay in lamenting. It can make you stay in this like the depressed mode, or it can also like it can bring the joy out of you. It can make you process thoughts. It can make you want to call somebody and apologize and be like, "I'm sorry, we're not here very long." Like it just makes you think of these different things. So my daughter's almost 12. My oldest daughter. I've got almost 5 kids. I have 5 as of they're already here, but they'll be born in August. And so my daughter came to me. Well, no, I'm doing laundry upstairs, and I hear her, and I've given her some responsibility. I gave her an Alexa. We have music unlimited, so she knows. Like I've given her the trust to play music that I've kind of given her some boundaries within. Stay within this area here, and but given her some responsibility of it. I heard her playing a song that wasn't necessarily a bad song. But I could feel how depressing the song was. Like it was super depressing. Like it was a really good indie folk song. Like it was really good.
And you're like, I don't need this right now.
My daughter's in there. Yeah. Well, she's in there, and like I could just sense like how depressing this song is. And this girl is like in it. She's sharing her misery through the song. So I was like, hey June, like let's turn this off. I kind of, I don't know how I feel about this song right now. And you got to remember, like when you're 11 and 12 years old, like all your hormones are starting to come out. Like you don't know why you're sad all of a sudden. You don't know why like all these different things are happening. And so I was like, hey, and she's like, Dad, I love this song so much. Like you can't take this song from me, Dad. And I'm like, well, let's just talk about it. I'm not saying you can't ever listen to it, but let's look at the lyrics. Let's like look into this song and figure out, and like, why did she want this song to be so sad? And so we started looking at the lyrics together. We started, reading into it, and I'm like, she's speaking ill things over herself. She's making herself even more depressed, and she's speaking about her future, like just all these different things. I'm like, June, does that sound like something that you would continue to want to say over yourself and agree with and all that kind of stuff? And I was like, were you sad before you listened to the song? No. Are you kind of feeling sad now? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, music's powerful, baby. Like, let's think about this. I said, hey, can I give you like, instead of saying like, no, don't listen to that ever anymore, can I give you like 5 of my like favorite like indie folk singers that I kind of trust at your age right now? Like, hey, when you get older, listen to whatever you want, right? Because by that time, your prefrontal cortex is developed, and you'll know how to like make good decisions. But right now, you don't make good decisions, and a lot of children don't. Suicide's up, y'all, 1,000% in young children. Yeah. It's up 1,000% because they have these screens, and they have comparison, and they have all these things telling them to do something, and they don't have a prefrontal cortex. So I'm like, hey, baby, let me give you 5 of my favorite artists to listen to that are indie folk. You'll still get some good feelings. You'll groove with the music, and you'll love it. If you like that person right there, I'll give you 5 that I appreciate. And that person wasn't necessarily, they didn't have bad music, but I also didn't like the path they were on. I didn't know I didn't know if I could trust what they were going to release next.
Yeah.
Right? Like what song could have come out next week and I didn't know it. She's listening to it. And then now my daughter's depressed and I'm like, hey baby, you don't want to be depressed because it's really hard to get undepressed.
Yeah.
Like once you get into depression, you can stay there for a long time and it's really hard to get out. You got to trust me on that. She trusted me. She hugged me. She thanked me. She loves these new artists, but we sat there, we journaled about it. She put all these artists in her journal. And so like music is powerful. And so I wanted to write something and release it into the world that was like an uplifting side of it. We got all the lamenting songs that we could ever want, right? I wanted some stuff that I think could empower some people, to get some people apologizing quicker, to get some people to not give up so quickly, to get, people just focused on what they can control. And so we look at that when we try to write songs. I'm writing that for my children's future, so they can hold on, like long after I'm gone, my children, my grandchildren, we're able to see like, hey, this is a way, he thought, and this is some good stuff, and it's still applicable today. And that's kind of some of the lineage that Sean and I are hoping to leave behind, long after we're gone.
That's a beautiful thing. You're giving me so many things to talk about. This is like the easiest interview ever. Well, first of all, and we've spoken about this before on this podcast once or twice, but I really do believe that music is one of the most pure forms of magic in the world, because it doesn't make sense. Like we literally had this exact same convo. So sorry guys listening at home if you heard us before, but it's like literally music. It's just one note. It's just bzzz, it's just one frequency. Whatever, one frequency by itself isn't really going to make you feel anything. But then all of a sudden you put a second frequency with it, and now you're crying. It's like, it doesn't really make any sense. Like it's just notes. It's just vibrations. But for some reason, it can hit us in an emotional way. And it doesn't, does science know why that happens? Is that proven why it just happens? You know what I mean? It really is an insane thing that I think about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day they'll find out the exact wave of your heart. And maybe something about the sound waves
with the beat,
matches.
like your brain waves or your heart.
They'll probably find out.
And we've always had music. I always come back to my faith. We've always had music. There is a verse that says that there is a song that plays in heaven 24/7, 365 days a year. And it is holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. So we've always, like, if you believe that, we've had music forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. If you believe that there is a God and a higher power, and you were created, and you're made in His image, then you're creative, and it's like you're just operating in that same thing, right? So, like, if you're created in someone's image, and you're making music, it's like that wasn't just you. You're imitating what was put in you that way. So I think, music's been around forever and ever and ever. We can still play music that was written, hundreds and thousands of years ago. As long as it was dictated on paper, we got it. Sean can read it for us, and we can figure out what it says and how it should sound. But it's, isn't that crazy that, people will pass away, stories will pass away, but as long as a song is either written down or recorded, we'll have it forever.
I know. That's really insane. I think about that around Christmas time when the Nutcracker comes out. I'm always like I wonder if Tchaikovsky knew that people would be playing his music 500 years later. Yeah. That's crazy.
It is. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, have you guys ever heard of the theory of like the muses when it comes to like art and like creating art? It was just this book I read called not the Art of War. That's the Sun Tzu. The War of Art. That's what it was. Yeah, the War of Art. It was a good play on words. But he was basically saying like, and it's something that I've heard like a lot of producers talk about. It's kind of talk about like the when you're creating, it's not really what you're doing. It's letting yourself become a vessel for the spirits and the muses and the energy around you. And in a way, I do think that's a way of God working through you as well. And I do really believe that, because I feel like there's sometimes, do you guys ever like have a time when you've been writing a song, or you come up with a riff or like lyrics, and then you look at it later and you're like, where did that come from? Like I did that.
Yeah.
I really do think that's whatever you want to call it, the spirit, the creator. I really think that's just that working through you, and I think that a big part of being creative is just not resisting that. It's not a matter of what you're doing. It's a matter of kind of what you're not doing in a way. And I feel like just being open to that is one of the greatest things you can do for not only for yourself as a person in your own development, but for definitely for art and creating.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You know, everybody listening, if you're a songwriter, even if you're not a songwriter, like ask God, what do you want to write? Like write with God. Like whoever, like if you're not sure who that is or whatever it is, reveal yourself to me and let's write a song together. And like, or just ask like whatever that question that's bugging you. I was in the airport in New York City, going to meet with some of my diamond suppliers. And this girl's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "From Charleston." And she's like, "Well, you guys have wolves?" I'm like, "No, we don't have wolves." She had just never left Manhattan. Right. You know, and she dreamed, she's like, I know I'm supposed to leave and I just don't know where I want to go. And I was like, "Well, have you ever asked God?" She's like, "I didn't know I could talk to God." Yes, you can talk to God like as much as you could possibly want to. And he even talks back. And so like, that's a lesson for everybody. Like, you know, give it a shot. Like, what do you have to lose? Sean, I knew you were about to say something. Sorry.
That's right. I was just going to say, I think with, you know, the reason there's not more creative people tapping into that is because it requires authenticity. And I think a lot of people don't really understand who they are. That takes a journey to get there. And then it takes some risk because I don't know what's going to come out. I don't know, you know, if I'm attached to this like personally because it was a deep part of me that it came from. If someone rejects it, what does that say about me? I think that there's a lot of artists that struggle with that. And then the big one that I struggle with still sometimes is I just wrote something that I love. It's been successful. The next one has to beat it. Like that. There's this thought of like my expectation now is here because I know I can do it. Let's go push again, try to hit that limit. And that's crippling. If I come into a songwrite with an expectation like that, it's just unreachable. So there has to be, like you're saying, Dan, that sense of openness to, even if this sucks, I have to let it come out. I have to let that creativity flow. And otherwise I'm holding back the flow. And so I think for a lot of artists, that's kind of the journey they have to go through. I got to know myself well, and I got to understand like this is a risk and I'm going to be okay with it regardless of how it sounds because it's me expressing.
Yeah. Okay. Who were some of your influences in terms of country, and what kind of country do you like? I just want to preface this in a way. I feel like there's old country and there's now country. So for me, like old country is like Kenny Rogers, Waylon Jennings, like, you know, that kind of country. And then there's like now country, which is like Shania Twain, you know, I feel like it's more like that level. So what would you say more were your influences?
I think for me, you know, in some of the countries, you know, I mean, I listened to everything. I was so attracted to like live music and weird, different sounds. When Coheed and Cambria came out, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, you know, like, and I was at Warped Tour, somehow ended up like, God is good. I got backstage passes to VIP passes to Warped Tour, you know, like, and got to meet them and like be up close and personal. But for me, it was always about something live, like wherever I was. And I had some really cool people in my life as well. You know, when I first started going to, I don't know. I'm extroverted, but I'm like super introverted. Like I can't stand big rooms and like, you know, like stuff that's not very relational, right? It's just a bunch of people and nobody's really going to get like below the surface. And so like ever going to like a youth group or any kind of like thing was just so weird and awkward. And, but there was this one. And so like, of course, if there's music, I'm like this the whole time, just like watching everybody leave me alone. I'm zeroed in on the music. And there was this one guy, his name's Scott Sutton. And man, the guy was so cool. I just remember he had the biggest thumb in the world playing music. But he could play guitar so well. It was so cool. He could sing and play at the same time. It was amazing. And it was like, I want to do that. I want to play music. I want to figure out how to do that. And I told him, I was like, man, I think I want to play music now. Like what kind of guitar? Something stupid. Like, you know, like, is that a pick? You know, he's like, yeah, that's a pick. Here, have this pick. like a little middle schooler, I'm like, I gotta pick. Like this is the journey. I'm on it, dude. Like I gotta pick. Like part one. So then, and it kind of happened to where I got injured in sports, like a bad knee injury, torn ACL, and some other stuff. And so then it was like, okay, here's the shift. Like I don't have to play sports. So I like spent my birthday money, life savings on a half stack guitar, B52 guitar amp. They had just come out, like, and it was the solid state, but it sounded incredible. Got a Washburn guitar, had another guitar, like an old Yamaha acoustic. I was just ready to learn, and I just started teaching myself and and then I bought a Yamaha PA system. And like before I could even finish a song, like I knew I just had everything ready, right? Like when I go in on something, like I'm all in. And so I still have the PA system here in my office. Like Yamaha did it right, and it still works. I think I gave away the half stack, and just some other friends are playing louder music. But it was always, I was drawn to live stuff every time. And it just made me feel like that's what I want to do. That just seems like the most fun thing in the world. And there's probably nothing that's more fun than that. I mean, I've played football in some like incredible, like I played against Tim Tebow, like, but playing music live is more fun than that. Like there's just incredible things about music that like you can't replicate. Like it's the most incredible thing. And then somehow it gets all synced together with like five, like when we play live, last time we played live, there's 7 of us on stage and 7 different instruments, and we were all synced up, and it was like, this is it. And it wasn't perfect. And so that, like there's the chance that next show we'll even do even better. And so it's always been that strive to have that live performance for me that is always what I'm attracted to the most.
What about you, Sean? Who influenced you?
So early on, there's this guitar player. His name is Lincoln Brewster, and he played with an early iteration of Journey's before they were Journey's lead singer. I forget his name, Steve
Perry.
Anyway,
right?
Perry, yeah.
So
yeah, that sounds right. So Lincoln Brewster was his guitar player, and then he ended up transitioning, and he was a big name in the like church world playing. And I felt like that was the first time I felt like I had permission to do some of the classic rock licks and solos that I had grown up with in a church setting. He kind of gave me that permission, and I always loved I loved listening to Journey, Queen, Foreigner, all these great bands that my parents would have on around the house. And then I studied jazz, and for a little season hated music, but pushed through. And then after college, had to relearn how to like music. So I had a lot of influence with the jazz world, and I'm grateful. I have learned so much from that experience, and I use it every day. But then with the country specifically, I always knew about guitarists like Keith Urban, Brad Paisley, and would pick up a lick or two every now and then if they were inspiring. But I think rather than individual artists in the country world, it's kind of just been a little bit of pick and choose. If I hear a song that lights my creative head on fire, I don't know, whatever you would say, I'll go learn it, I'll go study it. But for whatever reason, I don't always translate that into studying the artist. So they're kind of just singles that hit well. I'll try to learn what I can and see why I like it. But yeah, that's kind of the influence.
That's one of the most fun things, though, because it's like sometimes a song just hits you and you're like, I don't know why I like it, but I just really like it. And then you dive into, okay, so what is it about this song that I like it? And then you're like, oh, like, what is this chord? This is a beautiful chord. I'm going to start using that chord in my songs. And then it's like by dissecting other people's songs, you realize why it makes you feel like that. And then you're like, oh, well, maybe I could do something like that and make somebody else feel like that. Oh, I just hit my microphone. Sorry if that was loud. But that's one of the most fun things, I think.
Yeah, absolutely is. Yeah, I love being able to replicate an idea. And, anytime I'm learning someone's solo or something, my goal is not just to be able to play it note for note. I want to take the highlight parts of it and put it in every other song I'm going to play coming up, so that I kind of more internalize the idea and create that ability to recreate it as I want, not necessarily just in the situation that the artist used it in.
Right.
I like that idea.
Sorry, go on, Sifa.
No, I was just saying I like that idea.
Oh, yeah, same. Sorry to interrupt, everyone. Just wanted to take a few seconds to tell you about all of our great new merch options.
We got t-shirts,
Hoodies,
coffee mugs,
hats,
tote bags,
and so much more.
Click the link to view the whole selection. All rights and trademarks reserved to Sight After Dark is the best LLC. If you don't like it, then you can make your own LLC to compete with ours, but you probably won't because you're lazy and a hater. Prove me wrong by purchasing every one of our items at full price. Alternatively, if you're cool, you can hit us up literally whenever for sales and discounts.
I want to pick your guys' brains a little bit because, this has been coming up a lot, but I'm just curious. So I actually recently got married like a couple months ago.
Congrats.
And, thank you. But I'm curious. So like when you guys met, like I'm assuming you were young, like single guys, right? And then in the 13 years you were apart, obviously you got married, you had kids. So I'm curious how becoming married, like raising a family, one day I would love to have kids of my own, but it's like, how has that affected you as far as the way you think about music? I mean, you were saying that you're writing songs for your legacy and for your children, which is such a beautiful thing. But like, has it been like, I don't know how I'm really trying to ask this question. Like, do you feel that it's more hard to balance these aspects of your life? Like, as your father and you're bringing it back music, you're trying to do that. Like, how does it work? Have you guys been like going on the road? I mean, I know your wife is in the band with you, correct, Josh? So I'm sure that makes things a little easier with that. But like, how does that work? Like, if you have to leave town or you have a gig something and you have to worry about the kids, like how does this all come together in the present day? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's definitely. Go ahead, Josh.
I'll have one little thing. It makes it more difficult. We have a performance coming up. She's pregnant, and the next venue we're playing at is really, 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 really loud. So I'm like, hey, let's talk about this, because we asked ChatGPT, like, hey, what are the implications of this? It's like, the placenta can, in the stomach can muffle some sound, but harmful sound waves can get through. This is that venue that if you take your in-ears out, like, you're going to go deaf. Like, it's just so loud. Mm-hmm. And so like, she's like, no, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm like, great idea. So we're built to where like she's in and out, but like feelings aren't hurt, all that kind of stuff. Like, she's like the most supportive person. She's not like, she's incredible at performing. She's not driven to perform. Like, she doesn't love it. She just loves to sing, and everybody in our family sings. Trying to write music, do anything, it's all distractions. It's like music is a distraction from them. They're a distraction from writing music, or recording music or tracking music or whatever it may be. But they don't have to be a distraction. They want to just watch and learn. My son is an incredible drummer. Like, he's got it. Like, he's a smart kid, very athletic, talented. He'll skip a grade this coming year. But drums, he can. I put on so many different songs the other night by Muse and Franz Ferdinand, and like, I just kept going through all these different bands and these drum parts. I'm like, try that. He's like, got it, right? I'm like, but watch this one, because this one's going to change beats, and he's like, got it. And my daughters, like, they're so poetic and they love songwriting, and I tune guitars just for they can strum them and it still sounds kind of cool. And then they'll write me a song, and I'm like, that's it. Like, I hope you can just be way, 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 way better than me. But like, fostering that in them so that they have an outlet. Like, music is the most incredible outlet for people to do that. And then for friendships too, we've had this AI debate and battle for a while, and Sean and I were like trying to figure out how we feel about it. And then I had a friend who's got some like terrible PTSD. He got thrown off a plane when he was working on a plane. It destroyed his back. Like, the landing gear wasn't turned off, and the anti-aircraft missile system wasn't turned off. So when a plane came in to land, all of the screaming hot, I don't know, same thing. It's in a flare gun, whatever it is.
The fluids or whatever, like
that burst and all that stuff. Well, that burns through like concrete, right? Like, that stuff is really hot, and it burned him, threw him off a plane. He fell off the wing, broke his back, has some PTSD from that. But he also like lived a crazy life in the Air Force, and so he's got like all this stuff, all these things that still like haunt him to this day. He thankfully got healed and got out of a wheelchair, but he still like has devices in his back that he has to turn on, like, all this different stuff. He started using Suno to write music to express himself. Like, every terrible, dark feeling he's ever had, every thought, like how he wished life would be, how he wished he didn't have to experience X, Y, and Z, what he wants for his daughters and his wife to understand. And I'm like, this is like healing for him. He's not a musician. He's not a singer. He's not all these things. He's poetically like using AI to express himself. And I'm like, you know what? If it can do that for people, like whether they have crazy PTSD or not, they can just learn to express themselves, especially men. Like we got something going on where we just can't even like get words out sometimes, what we're feeling. He's doing it. So I know I just ran off again. And I said I'd be quick.
That's what it's all about. That's why we call it Music Maniacs, all right?
That's it. So I'm going to pass it to Sean because he's probably got something more technical too.
No, I was just thinking, it's kind of been, in hindsight, I'm glad it's been beautiful and a blessing that it's worked out this way, because I remember once when I got out of college, I was thinking like, all right, I got to head towards playing every night, touring. I just want to do music. And I guess I kind of thought that was the only option. And then getting married, there was an element of having to settle down a little bit. She was a teacher for a long time, so she's waking up early. I don't like staying up late, so it just kind of it didn't work for our house to have me playing gigs late every night. So it kind of kept me from getting super involved with any one particular group or genre. It was kind of just, if I wanted to play it and it was with good friends, I'd do it. Or if it paid well, I would deeply consider it. But yeah, so there was an element of having the family held me back, and I don't mean that in a pejorative way, but it kept me pursuing music in a different way. And now that Gale Bird has started, and I have spent so many years with that being the mindset, and then having kids, and it's not really been hard to sacrifice the music for the family. It's kind of just something I want to do. So that's helped. And since we're both with that same mindset, we can agree on, we don't need to be taking weekend tours 2-3 times a month. We want to be with our family on our day off. And it's allowed us to, I guess, approach it with a little bit more freedom, and also realize we do this because we like it, not just because we have to build an audience, not just because we have to please the label, not just because we have we do have goals for ourselves. We want to do it really well, but I think we're on the same page of like the family is our desire to protect. And so it's kind of been nice. I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. I think, Daniel, little learn, there will be always something trying to pull you away from your family. It could be a job. It could be like whatever it may be. Things are always trying to pull you away from your family. This society that we're in now is not a family-centric society.
Nope.
Things will always try to pull you away. It's learning how to like not let, and you don't want to rob everything else. Like you don't want to like look back and like the only thing I ever did was like raise children. So it's like you want to find this balance. Something will always get robbed. It just can't be the same thing all the time. If it's your health will suffer tremendously. If it's your family, they'll let you know. They usually will let you know pretty quick by kicking and screaming. Your wife will let you know. Your child will let you know. All that kind of stuff. If it's your job, you won't have any money. It's like, there's a balance, but you can't strive after the balance. Like the balance can't be the key word, because then all of a sudden you become like anemic trying to have such like an incredible balance. It's like, no, like take risks, learn to apologize, keep rolling with the flow, learn each other, learn to groove together. It's like a band. Like you got to learn to groove together. Right. And you and your spouse will learn to groove together. You'll learn the ins and outs of each other. Like, she'll notice patterns in you and call you back. My wife notices patterns in me. She calls me back all the time. Hey. You're staying up all night working. But you'll notice each other. You'll get to know each other really, really well. And it's like, it's so incredible because you're worth getting to know so well. And you're worth like getting to know like the worst parts of you and the best parts of you. But then the best part is like, figuring out how to put the lens on to where you focus on the best parts. It's so easy to for family or for whoever to demonize or hate some of the things that we love because they don't like to share us, and they want to blame those things for pulling us away from them. And so music can be that. Like, people can hate music. It's like, well, I didn't get to know him very well because he was always playing music, or I didn't get to whatever. It just can't be the same thing all the time. And so it's like, I think it's a part of maturing. It's a part of being humble and saying, like, maybe I'm wrong and I need to do better at, like, focusing time this way. And it's couples trying to explain without kicking and screaming too hard. Like, I just want your attention. I don't want to, I'm tired of sharing you right now. And it's okay not to want to share sometimes. Like, that's why we got married. We don't want to share with each other with the rest of the world. And we have to come back and remember that. And, we didn't get married so that they could just cheer us on all the time and watch us do what we want to do. It's like, how do we do it all together that's honoring? So I think there's a way. I don't think everybody's ever done it really well. I think some of our favorite musicians, they've been through several marriages. They've been through a lot of friendships. Bands have broken up over silly stuff. Remember the Eagles broke up over politics? It's like, come on. Like, no, not that. Like, you were played. They're always trying to play us against each other. Like, don't fall into it. It's and it's like, we can't let those other things pull us apart. And that just becomes being extremely honest with each other, like, honest so much that it's like very vulnerable to be honest, like, to say the thing that's like really hard to say out loud, that feels selfish to say. And it's okay to say it. Even if it is selfish, like, it's okay to be selfish and to say it out loud, but it's not okay to, like, be selfish and then, like, make a bunch of ruckus, because you didn't say it out loud. And so, it's something nobody's perfected, and we haven't perfected. And, like, Sean's a big part of, like, me trying to figure a lot of it out, and I'm a part of him trying to figure it out. We talk about it constantly of, like, all right, what do we got to do better? Hey, I'm taking today off. Like, you won't be able to find me or contact me today because it's all about my wife or my children, my family. And we encourage each other to focus that, like, really hard. So I don't know. You'll get a lot of skin knees trying to figure it out. I know that.
It's tough to do it alone, though. Like Josh was saying, I need his help. And I've got other guys in my life that I'm able to share, what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, and they'll quickly tell me if it's looking like I am being selfish or there's something out of balance that I could correct. So not doing it alone is a big part of that.
Having that support system.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And appreciate the weird things about people too. Like, I'm a super high capacity person. I'm sure for Sean sometimes, like, that's, like, annoying. Like, no, come back here. We got to finish this first before we move on to that. Or, like, hey, no, we were trying to finish this and you started talking about that over there. But at the same time, if I wasn't high capacity, like, I don't think we sometimes get to experience some of the stuff we get to do because we're taking risks and we're just crazy enough to think we can. So, like, find those people and appreciate that about them. I've got so many friends in my life that I think everybody else is discounted as, like, a little odd, and I just think that, no, like, you just don't see the gold in that person. Like, that person's really, 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 really incredible. And I have some friends that are just talented in so many different ways, but, like, you got to take them and you got to put the lens on to appreciate, like, the best parts of them. Like, one of my friends is an incredible chef, but he's got quirks in other areas and things like that, and he, and just so many different friends, but learning to appreciate them in that way, will really allow you to also get to know somebody that nobody else ever got to know, or took the time to get to know because they couldn't get over some of the other stuff, that they had to navigate. But again, I always come back to, like, nobody said it was supposed to be easy. Friendship is not supposed to be easy. It costs you something.
Right.
Like, it costs you a lot. And, then the people complaining about not being able to hang out with the other people are just discounting the friendship that they do have in front of them.
So true.
There's just so many parts of that. I've been lucky enough to discover that, and have some incredible people around me that have allowed me to do some of the stuff that I've been able to accomplish.
Yeah. I think everybody just being on board, just going according to whatever the mission is the best part, because then you have to be more understanding, then you have to be more patient, you have to be more loving, because it's like, okay, well, this is for, without having anything else to call it, the greater good. Like, this is for everything we planned for. So yeah, there's a lot of sacrifice in that. I've come to understand. I've been on both sides of it, where somebody's not supportive of you, like, at all. They're just like with you. And then when they realize that you have talent and this is like a possibility for success, then all of a sudden you become like their enemy in a way. And that can be like very jarring and also kind of disappointing, definitely. But I think once you find someone and you have that mission, like, your partner understands what a musician is, what musicianship is. Like, it's not always like rainbows, how moody musicians can be, like, things like that, like little things,
Yeah.
I feel like, once that's set, then I think you're all good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now the moody, crazy person that I do want, that I probably wouldn't get along with, is a sound guy. Like, you want the angry, you want the sound guy that's like rude, and somehow he just got there at 3:00, but he's already really mad. Like, he was mad before he got there, before he even ever met you.
There's a show today. What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? But like, he's going to be the best sound guy ever. But it's the ones that are like real nice, like, oh, whatever you need, just take it.
Yeah,
that sound might not be as great. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. I feel like so many of the things that we just spoke about all really go back to authenticity, because it's like, not only is it a matter of you having to be authentic with the people in your life to make it easier for yourself and for them to be able to, like, honestly express yourself, but even like for what you were saying about like meeting like interesting people that, somebody else might see them and be like, oh, well, that person is like weird, I don't want to like be with them. But it's like, if you're confident in yourself and you authentically know who you are, then it's not going to be a problem for you hanging out with somebody that somebody else might consider weird. Like, I don't care. Like, I like this person. I don't give a shit if you don't like this person. Like, we vibe, and that's what matters. So I feel like, again, connecting with yourself and really authentically being who you are and not trying to hide it or kind of push it away is probably the best way forward for anything. I mean, it's such a vague thing to say, but that's how I feel.
Absolutely. Yep.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I want to say something else. I just remembered. So you said you were coming to New York for like your diamond dealer. Were you in the Diamond District?
Yeah. So I stayed. I'll hit you up. Oh, definitely.
One of my offices is literally one block from the Diamond District.
Oh, wow. Man, I'd take any excuse to come to New York City. I stay at, South Manhattan, over at Pier 17. Okay. And, just so I can like just enjoy that view and just, that quiet over there. Mm-hmm. Right. And World Trade area is real quiet. And then, the everything Midtown is just hustling and bustling. And I'm like, which is cool for me. I got like in doses, Yeah. And then, of course, like I went right before Christmas and it was,
no.
And it was really cool because I love to people watch too. So like, it was really cool. But I would never bring my wife or kids at that time, like, because of how crazy it was. Mm-hmm. No, I love it so much. I love the smells. I'm weird. My favorite smell is the burnt metal from riding the train.
You're definitely the first person I've heard to say the thing I like about New York is the smells.
Yeah. Well, it's the burnt metal. Like, I know when I get off the plane and I go take a bus, and then all of a sudden, as soon as I'm underground, I'm like, I'm back, baby. Yeah. Like, it's the burnt metal, and then all of a sudden
you smell.
There's a pea smell. Yeah. That. But I'm focused. Hey, listen, I'm focused on the burnt metal, like the subway stopping, man. And then, I got my favorite spots I love to go to. And Sean and I are foodies so much. And so, like, last time I was there, I had the best, like, bone marrow at this one Chinese restaurant. with like spicy mustard on top, and I had this clay pot bowl that was incredible. I'm always just trying to find like the best, most ethnic food ever. Charleston, we have some really great access, but I'm just trying to find like the craziest, most ethnical food I can eat and
There's a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh, and I eat it up, and I love it. I love it, and I love every supplier that I work with. A lot of them are from India. Just we've developed great friendships and cheer each other on, and my bench jewelers that I contract with, all that kind of stuff. Everybody is just incredible in their own way. And I love to laugh. So we're always, trying to make these guys laugh as much as I can. Because a lot of them are very, very serious.
Mm-hmm.
And
you gotta be serious to work there. Those 2 blocks are insane. It's just many people running it. I'll tell you a story when we're done about when I was getting the engagement ring, but please go on.
Oh my gosh. Oh, if you went first floor there, they attacked you like vultures.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. You go like I used to buy like custom watches in it's more like uptown, so say like in the 60s on the east side. And one time I got this like double-faced watch, and I'd never seen anything like it before. And it's like silver. I'm telling my aunt about it, and she was like, "Yeah, go into Midtown, go get it appraised." And she's like, "But as soon as you walk out of there, look over your shoulder, right?" She's like, "Just make sure, like, there's so many things to think about." I'm just going to go get something appraised. But she's like, "No, but just make sure you look over your shoulders." She's like, "If you have to walk swinging your arm like you're a crazy person," she was like, "do it. Because you never know who's following you or who's going to rob you." It's just crazy.
It is. It is. I'm glad. I don't feel as bad. I'm a big guy. And last time I went, I took my brother who's about, a couple inches taller than me. And, it just, I don't have to, feel worried about anything, but, it's a blast. And I stick out like a sore thumb too, and it's amazing. Got to watch Duke get beat in Madison Square Garden. That was a blast. It just, I have a great time every time I go. And, so Sean hopefully will be on the next trip with me and
let's hang out.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We live in Brooklyn because we can't deal with that Manhattan shit all the time here.
Right. Yeah. I love it. But no, I got, when they switched, I used to be the guy with the Metro map. Right. And like, and like, I didn't know where I was going, but then once I figured it out, like I knew everything. And then as soon as I'm like, I got it all figured out. Then all of a sudden we got all these apps and I'm like, I know exactly the train's going to be in here in 2 minutes, So,
once you get over the whole kind of overwhelming thing about Manhattan, it's just north, south, east, and west. And it's just like, you'll know everything by then.
Yep. And if you get on the wrong train, who cares? And now we're tap to pay. We're tap to pay. Yeah. So that's what tap to pay was the newest part. And I love that too. So that was about time.
It's the best part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the story real quick about how crazy the Diamond District is, because there's a lot of parts of the story, but I thought it was really funny. Okay, so the Diamond District, the majority of the people that work there are usually Jewish or like Indian, right? So I'm Jewish, my wife is Indian.
Yep.
So we get hooked up with my friend. He's like, "Oh, I got a guy. You need a ring? I got a guy in the Diamond District. Hit him up." And me and my fiance at the time, we both. Well, I guess she wasn't even my fiance then because we were looking for the ring. Anyway, so we both go. And, it's me, it's my people, it's the Diamond District that hooked us up. We're all expected to go into this, like, an extremely, like Hasidic Jewish guy's, like, office. And we walk in, and it's the most Indian guy. And we're just like, this is perfect for us. This is literally like we were meant to be at this guy. Yeah. So we're talking to him, and this is not the first floor. This is like an office, like a few floors up. So it wasn't insane. But we're only in there for, like, 20 minutes. And during the time we're talking to him, there's, like, 5 people coming in and out, just bringing in, like, envelopes of diamonds and giving it to him, and then he gives them another diamond, and then they run it to somebody else on the street. And I'm kind of talking to him like, what is all of this going on? He's like, well, you can't leave all the money in one place. You got to keep it moving. You got to constantly be moving because then you can't get robbed, and then nobody knows where all the money is. And I'm just like, yo, this is actually insane. Like, we were not in that office long at all. We saw so much diamond just running in and out of just this one office. I could only imagine what it was actually like to go there every day to work would stress me out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would
I'd be
stress me out too.
scared.
But these people the guys I work with, like they're built for it, you know. And like I don't even get offended when they're like, "Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want," you know. And I put it on speakerphone, and my kids think that I speak Hindi. They don't, you know. Like they're like, "Dad, what did he say?" And I'm like, he's literally speaking English, but they can't understand it, you know, because they're like really young. But like they're like, "Yeah, my dad, he can speak any language." You know?
He's got it all.
No, I just been, he's got it all. No, I've been working with him for 5 years, like, you know, but incredible people, so it's they're making that industry go around. You know, that's a $17 billion a year industry, and they make it go around right there on that block is where a lot of it happens.
And it's literally like one block for sure, and like half another block is crazy. It's just such a small area. There's just so much money and so much diamond and so much jewelry just moving within these 2 blocks 24/7 every day. It's crazy.
It was really hard to get into it because of how much like cartels and mafia traffic money through and launder money through jewelry and gold and diamonds, all that kind of stuff. To get into jewelry is extremely, extremely hard. I've never filled out so much paperwork in my life, and you have to have people that are willing to vouch for you, like at least 8 everywhere you go. Banks don't want to talk to you about it. You know, suppliers won't even talk to you unless you've already been in business, you know, like just all these different things.
Right.
And so, you know, it's pretty crazy, but that everybody on that street knows each other. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
And,
100%.
You know, and there's so much to go around. They're not even competing with each other. Like there's just so much to go around. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that that's working out for you. I'm glad that you're getting your hands at all these different things, and like we were saying, having these multiple streams of income. Because it's like and Sifa and I talk about this all the time. It's like as we get older, we understand like how, especially how the music industry is now. It's pretty hard to make a lot of money. Like if you want to be making music, you want to be doing all these things, you probably are going to have some other streams of income as well. Unless you're the top 0.001% of artists, which is, you know, it's obviously not most people. So it's it's interesting just hearing, and I always love talking to different artists because nobody, especially in New York, nobody just does one thing, right? Everybody has a hustle, or everybody's they have the job during the day, but then at night they do something else. So I always love talking to people and seeing, okay, so as an artist, like what are the other things that you're doing to add this into your life and to, you know, complete this? Because most people are not able to make a full-time living just being an artist, and that is what it is, and that's the way that it's always been, unfortunately. So I love hearing things like that.
It's fun, you know, trying to meet with somebody and have them explain to you. They don't know jewelry very well. They don't know the anatomy of jewelry, all this kind of stuff. To have them explain to you or try to explain to you what they want, what they've always dreamed of, is an art to like pull it out of them. And the anatomy of the ring's kind of cool. There's actually a bridge. Like it's like writing a song. You're going to pull in all the different components because, you know, everything is like a Mr. Potato Head. I can pull this from this ring and this from this ring and this from this ring. And then I'm telling them what it's called. I'm telling you how we can change it. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to make a computer-aided design. And that's my demo. The CAD is my demo, right? And then I take my demo and they approve the demo or they tweak it and then we revise it. Then I bring it back to them as a rendering. And then I take that rendering and that CAD, I send it to my bench jeweler team. My bench jeweler team makes a casting, right? Like they're going to make the first tracks. They're going to lay down the tracks. They're going to make a print of this, like kind of think of like the negative, right, of what the ring's going to be. And then they pour that metal, the gold or the platinum into that. Then they polish it. Right. So then we got to go over, we got to mix and master it really well. And then we got to set the diamond. Right. And then we're going to fold the prongs and we're going to polish it. Then we're going to do our final quality control check. And then we get to release it to the world as like, here you go. So it's like a song. And really it is so much fun.
Wow. That's a great analogy.
Dude, yeah, like
I have flashes of Lord of the Rings. It was a great story. Like I put my own imagery.
I actually just 3D printed a Lord of the Rings ring with everything on it.
Oh and, let's go. Yeah.
So it's just it's awesome. But you know, creatives, like you got to make money. Might as well do something really creative and enjoy it. And there's so many different things out there that you can do that allow you to do that. So
absolutely,
so cool. So what's the next project? What's the next musical project that you're working on? What should anybody listen out for?
We have a new song we're in the studio working on right now. We're hoping to get it out late March, early April. we have a big show end of March that we'd love to time it with. So we're in process with that, and still writing as much as we can, looking ahead. We're very grateful for the label that signed us, but one of the challenges that they gave was within the first 6 months, write 20 songs, and then we'll pick the couple that we feel that the label felt like would do the best. And so they have a lot of say over that, but it allows us to, to be challenged, to keep pushing, and then trust their understanding of the market and stuff. And so anyway, we're excited they're on board with this new one, and so we're starting preliminary stuff for tracking. We'll be getting in the studio hopefully this week and next week, this coming week, and then getting ready for the big show next month.
Tell us about the show, because obviously everybody listening, you should go check out Gale Bird, the stream, music, anything that you can. So tell us more about the show. You said it's a big show, and this was the one you were telling about the venue that's really loud, right?
Yeah. So Allendale Green is like, think of Asheville, North Carolina, or Austin, Texas. Weird, right? Like, BYOB, but then they've got they built a giant pizza stone out there. Like it's the town of Allendale, South Carolina, which is like the middle of nowhere, outside of like the bigger Charleston city. Like Charleston's huge, and then like right outside of that, well, Charleston's not huge. It's 72nd largest metropolitan city in the country. But outside of that is Allendale, which is like you're back in the woods,
right?
And literally you're in the woods in some swampland, and there's a barn, and there is like about 100 different types of chairs out there. Like people bring a chair, leave a chair. And it's like a plastic chair, it can get rained on, like all this different stuff. My dentist, his name's Eddie White, just guy that loves music so much. He's like, dude, I'm going to make a venue, and I'm gonna clean teeth and like do all this stuff with teeth during not clean them, but like inspect them and like treat them and tell people.
Your
how
dentist's name is Eddie White?
I know, right?
Like that writes itself. Yeah.
He's the coolest guy.
Yeah.
And he's got white hair, and he's got he's just so cool. And so he goes out there, and then he employs some guys that are like borderline homeless, or unhoused, or and they are the ones that set up the drum set. They're not the sound guys, but they get the place ready for Wednesday nights. So it's every Wednesday night. And they got a whole, bunch of different stuff. They got lights, and they got food, and they got merch. They got all this different stuff. And literally people come out like from all over. And so like Red Clay Strays played there 2 years ago before they blew up. But they were like borrowing instruments and all this different stuff. And now they're winning Grammys, and they're like, they didn't know that this was right. They were right on the other side. Mm-hmm. So everybody who travels is trying to put a tour together. They'll come and play at Allendale Green. We've got the relationship with Eddie. We just, hey, he's like, well, tell me a day you want, tell me a time you want, last time he was very kind, told us it was like the best performance of the year out there, so like it just makes it, because they're listening to music every week, right. 52 weeks of music, and so to hear that, because they've got about 4 or 5 bands every night that like they'll do about a 45-minute set all the way through. I think the first openers do like 30-minute. But they've got talent coming through every night, and you got a quick like 5-minute change between bands. Like you don't get a huge sound check. Right. You don't get like any of these things. It's like what you get is what you get, and you got to learn to deal with it and work with it. And it's like it's challenging, but it's like it's home for us because it's always been there, and just everybody is there for music. They're there to like have a good time and sit with their friends and stuff, but they're there like they're about music. So great place. It's really cool. It's like the fabric of the city of Allendale. So if you ever come through Charleston and you're on a Wednesday night, Allendale Green's where you need to be.
All right, you guys heard it here first. If you're anywhere in the Charleston area, you better be there. Okay, go get your tickets now.
Yes, March 25th.
March 25th.
Yes,
it's a good day. So thank you guys again so much for being here. This is a great talk. I mean, one of the most fun things about doing the podcast is that it starts as music. Like, okay, this is why we kind of came up with things like Music Maniacs. So the base will be music, but we'll talk about whatever the hell is going to happen, and we're going to go with it. And this has been a very insightful conversation. I've really enjoyed talking with you guys. So I just really want to say thanks again for being here and doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, man, it was really, really cool. I do have one last question. When your label told you to write 20 songs, do they want all new material? Like, do they micromanage, or can you pull from old material and bring it in?
Yeah, I don't feel like they've micromanaged us. We brought in a couple songs, but
Okay.
a lot of the songs from back in college days we've grown past, and
Okay.
so we brought in a few, but we wrote most of that list, and now working past it and surpassing it. Yeah.
Nice. All right, cool.
Well, that's one of the great things we were saying earlier. It's like sometimes you just gotta, like, letting the music through. You just gotta do.
Yep.
Sometimes you just gotta write as much as possible, and that's a big part of how you figure out what you do well. You know, not
Yeah.
everything's gonna be great. It's a numbers game. If you make 20 songs and 19 of them aren't great, then you got one good song right there, and that's more than you had before.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
honestly think it's always playing. We're focused on other things during the day that we don't pay attention. But when you go into like a quiet place, like when you like just step in a bathroom, or you're doing something really quietly in the bathroom, like your hair, your face, there's like a song playing. There's like sounds, you just got to think of something else and go to work or something like that. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I'd always
put a
have this
guitar in
when I'm
every
about to go to
room.
bed. Yeah.
Yeah. So a trick for you, Dan, when you start having kids, put a guitar in every room. So like get a little baby Martin, and so like whenever I'm putting the girls to bed or talking to my son, they'll pick up the guitar off the wall. Dad, play at least one or two songs tonight. Play this one. And if a song's a good song when the 5-year-old's singing it, the
my
9-year-old
dad said
boy's
that.
singing it,
My
the
dad said that
11-year-old's
all the
singing it.
time.
Yeah.
He was a musician, and he said if we were jumping up and down, he knew he had a hit.
Yep. And if they can remember the lyrics and the melody, and they can sing it back, and you only sang it one time, like you have a great song. And so they're my litmus test for that. But a guitar in every room, because like when you're putting them to bed, and then all of a sudden you start to like sing a lullaby, or then all of a sudden that turns into something. All of a sudden, like all the folk music comes out, and like a melody comes out or something, and then your daughter's like, "Dad, you're onto something." I'm like, "I know, but go to sleep."
It's crazy. Don Felder said he wrote Hotel California just watching his son play, just sitting down and watching his son play in a room.
Wow,
It's crazy.
man, come on, Sean.
All right, I'll work on that tonight.
Get those kids playing.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll get a few more guitars so I can put them in other rooms.
There you go. That's it. That's your excuse. You're welcome.
That's a good excuse.
Well, that's a good one. I
I'm
appreciate
gonna try that tonight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, thanks again so much for being here, guys. If you're ever in New York, hit us up. We'd love to get a beer or something, just hang out. Send us like anytime. I mean, you're working on the music when it's out. Definitely send us to it, or send it to you know what I'm trying to say. in the meantime, guys,
the jewelry links too.
Yeah.
Yes,
And in the
we'll send
meantime,
that to you as
guys,
well.
everybody check out Gale Bird. Everywhere you on the internet, everywhere you stream, go check them out. This was a lovely conversation. These are great people right here. So thanks again for being here. We really do appreciate it.
Peace.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Thanks,
This
guys.
has been Music Maniacs with Side After Dark with 2/3 of Gale Bird. And we'll see you later.